This is a fun day. This has been great. I did have two of our youngest producers up here, Pat Sir and Jessie, traveling with me today. So I think if you wouldn't mind, we're all three going to give you a little discussion around what we're doing in the market. We'll start with Pat, who's actually the president of our company, and I think a great place to start. Then I'll talk about the overview of the industry, and Jessie will get into our Healthiest You platform. Thanks, guys.
Great. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that youngest salespeople comment. I'm not sure I quite fit that description, but as Todd said, I'm Pat Sir. A lot of familiar faces out here, which is great to see. My past life was at Assurant and then United Healthcare, and about 4 years ago, I joined Healthiest You, and we're really excited to be talking to you today about telemedicine. It's a very, very dynamic, rapidly growing space. A lot of fun. What drew me to telemedicine is I've been in the ancillary business all of my career, and what really excited me about this particular industry is our ability to really have an impact on medical claims, to lower medical claims. And, you know, fundamentally, if you think it's cheaper to call a doctor than go to the doctor, why don't more people do it, right? And Healthiest You, what we did is we built a business around changing people's behavior, around doing things, providing tools and services to the employees that would actually, to the members that would actually get them to call a doctor versus go to the doctor. And what's exciting about that is, you know, it's really a way to lower your medical expenses. So I joined Healthiest You about 4 years ago, and we were looking for a network partner, an improvement in our current situation. And we went around the country and we met with a lot of different telemedicine providers. And we went down to Lewisville, Texas as one of those trips, and we met Teladoc. And we were absolutely blown away by the capabilities that Teladoc has. So when you think of telemedicine, today, it's primarily in the acute space. It's primarily, you know, sort of the 70% of the reasons we go to the doctor for smaller, you know, less critical conditions. But this industry is changing. We're actually expanding dramatically, and we're going to be getting into more and more chronic type conditions as time goes on. So anyways, we went down to Teladoc early 2016. We fell in love with the clinical expertise, the scale, the number of providers, and lo and behold, we realized we had something in common with each other, and that is a passion to change people's behavior, a passion to actually get people to use this lower cost setting. One thing led to the other, and Teladoc purchased us July of 2016. So work with Teladoc now, we're very excited. And so I just wanted to take a moment to say hello to everyone, and I want to turn it back to Todd. Todd's going to talk a little bit more about Teladoc, and then Jessie in particular is going to talk about Healthiest You. And again, Healthiest You, think of us as the engagement platform for Teladoc. So thank you. I'm going to turn it back to Todd.
All right. I'm going to talk to you, and it's really a 50,000-foot level of where telemedicine is today. And I think if you look at the opportunity that's out there, you guys will agree that we're just the tip of the iceberg right now. So if you look at primary care visits across the U.S., we've got about 1.25 billion taking place today. We are going to do about 1.5 million in our system. So if you look at the statistics, we think that, and many of the independent research companies agree, that about 30% of all of the primary care visits can take place within a telehealth system. That means about 400 million visits could be done through a system like ours. Again, we're at 1.5 million, so pretty big opportunity. Behavioral health was our next step into the care management programs through the telehealth platform, and we estimate 130 million consults could take place in that area each year. So over 500 million consults. So really great opportunity. Pat touched on engagement, and that's the challenge. How do we get people involved? How do we get them into the system and working with us to deliver this cost-effective care? And we'll get into that a lot more. A couple things have happened, and I talked to a few of you in the room today. Technology has driven this forward. We all have our smartphones. I think it's 80%, if you look at this statistic, 80% of us are carrying around a smartphone. I would guess that 100% of us in this room are. And when you think about that technology, we're going there every day. And you have to have an application. You have to have a smartphone platform that's going to drive this forward. 50% of the users are actually going through their smartphone to get information on health and wellness. So a huge opportunity for us. So these dynamics within the system are driving this push for more cost-effective and convenient care. The other thing that we're seeing is people demand services quickly. We're not going to go sit in a waiting room. We're not going to want to take a half day off work to go see our primary care physician. That doesn't happen today. So a really good fit that we're seeing within the population today. This is a quick slide about Teladoc and what we've done. We are going to deliver about 75% of the consults across the telehealth platform across the nation this year. Again, 1.5 million visits will happen within our system. The other competitors out there are going to add to that. We're going to have well over 2 million visits take place in the telehealth environment. So it's really catching on today. This is a grid that shows kind of where we've been over the last few years. You can see the growth line here. And then this starts our discussion on engagement. Again, we have to have people understand and feel comfortable with what we're doing. We've got to have that interaction. We've built a platform, we call it Surround Sound, but we built this platform years ago to engage with our members and to drive them into a system that allows them to get the care when they need it and how they need it. So whether that's through a phone call to our 1-800-TELEDOC number, or it's through the web, or now it's through their mobile app where they can do a video chat or a phone call while they're on the road. I think it's really important to have those engagement points throughout the system. But this is all talking about the different places that we touch our members: social media, print campaigns, communication platforms that we've built within our system. So this is where we started. And as we move into the Healthiest You platform, you're going to see that 2.0 telehealth system, that engagement platform that really has doubled our utilization within the system. So exciting times right now. And then Pat touched on this. We have seen this marketplace changing very quickly. When you look at the different points that we're going to come in and manage care, behavioral health is a starting place, dermatology. We've got network support systems like Compass built into our program. So the platform continues to build out, and that's exciting for all of us, right? We're getting more cost-effective and direct care that the members want. So I think it's a system that we're going to see grow tremendously over the next few years. This is my slide to kick it into the Healthiest You discussion. And by the way, we have these slides up on our table. But really, when Pat said we came together last July, we truly did. We took two platforms and we put them into one. And the ability to engage is now greater than ever. So this slide really talks about the leaders on both sides, the platforms that we've built together to create Healthiest You. And Jessie, is that a good kickoff?
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. My name is Jessie, and I'm the guy that's been sitting and standing back here, not sure which one to do until I got up. So I feel better now that I'm up here. Anyway, thank you all for being here. We're really excited to share the Teladoc and Healthiest You story with you. And we'll talk about it. I'm not sure if I'll even go through all the slides, but Pat alluded to the one thing that we do that is ultra important, and that is change behavior. If you look at, there are many different models right now as far as telehealth implementation. If it's embedded in a plan, could be a standalone. There are other ways to get it. Generally speaking, people don't know they have the benefit. That's been the challenge. So we decided to focus on getting people to use it by changing their behavior. And there are a few different ways to do that. First thing is make it really easy to access. So we've got a tremendous smartphone app, which if you haven't seen it, we'd love to demo it for you. Especially during happy hours, we'll show you how to talk to a doctor all day long. Real exciting, but we enjoy that. You can dial an 800 number, connect using a computer, many different ways. And you'll see some other providers in this space may say you only have a video consult option as an example. or maybe only a telephone consultation option. Well, that'll really limit what employees can do. So whatever you have, we're here to help. The main thing we've done that I think has been the most important is we've done two things. First is we have what's called our client success team. And I wouldn't say it's too different from an account manager, right? So it's someone that's working with every single client in our world to help them drive the behavior change, right? Through education, communication, a variety of different things. If it's a construction company, we'll do stickers for helmets or air fresheners. Or maybe it's a live webinar, a recorded webinar, whatever it might be. And then we use our smartphone app to keep the member coming back for things that have nothing to do with telehealth. And people say, well, you're kind of crazy because that doesn't make any sense. Well, the goal of that is pretty simple. The more you think of us throughout the year, the more likely you are to actually use us when you're not feeling well. And I always use the example of, for me, I get sick maybe once to twice a year. Now, if I only heard about Healthiest at open enrollment, what are the odds of me thinking about it when I actually need it, or when one of my kids needs it? Probably not very good. So now that we have the smartphone application and a member portal that brings all these different tools back into play, they're all keeping you coming back to us, even when you're not sick. If you need to price out a prescription medication or find maybe a pharmacy in the area or search for a new primary care physician that may be in your network, a lot of different reasons for you to come back to us, which in the end means you're thinking about us more, which is driving more of that utilization and of course the behavior change. Todd had alluded to the Teladoc physician network, and I think the most important stat that I found anyway, as far as talking with consultants and clients in the world, is Teladoc built the infrastructure to handle 100 million members, 100 million belly buttons, which means as we're at the beginning of a tremendous growth trend in telehealth, and we don't have to change anything. It's already there, it's ready, it's there to support it. And importantly, it's there to support utilization, and that's the biggest piece. You know, we could see we've got all this infrastructure, we can store the data, but if you're waiting an hour to talk to a doctor, that's not going to do you any good, right? But there are a lot of things that are done to make sure that the infrastructure is ready for all of that utilization so we can handle all of that. We keep our callback time on average to about 7 minutes. So they've done a really good job of doing just that. Client success team this is the value prop. So without the client success team, I'm sure all of you have found this app, right? This app that's amazing, but no one knows it's out there because no one's driving the message that this app exists. So client success does an awesome job of basically doing two things. One is the communications. They're sharing a lot of great information with the group that's designed to be sent on to all employees. And it may be that March Madness is here, so we'll do a bracket buster of different sicknesses that a person can get. Or if Christmas is around the corner, whatever it might be. But all of these things are designed to be seasonal marketing pieces that'll help to say, hey, Healthiest is here, remember to use us. My favorite is a back to school poster. It's this cute blonde kid, he's picking his nose, which I know is kind of gross. But at the bottom of the poster, it just says, back to school season is here, remember to pick Healthiest you first. So either you laugh or you're disgusted, but you're thinking about calling Healthiest you. So that's client success. And then they'll help with registration drives, app download drives, anything they can do to, again, get people thinking about, all right, I've got this benefit, I need to use this benefit. That's part of the behavior change. They're also driving people to then download the smartphone app. So the reason I say they're so important is without them, most people wouldn't know we have a smartphone app. So this is a really pivotal piece. This is what no one else does. If you're wondering why I think this is so important, this literally is non-existent in the rest of the market. I still haven't figured out why, but I hope they keep doing what they're doing because we like it this way a lot better. Some examples of what they do, and again, we talked about all this, but you've got different kits we can send out. Again, they'll do webinars, campaigns, you get the idea. If you use an EDI feed, we can build that in with eligibility very simply. If you don't, we even have a portal that's very turnkey where you can manage your ads and terms real time just by logging into a system. So the idea is everything we do is just designed to be simple, very, very simple. There's that great picture of the kid picking his nose that I like. This is just a snapshot of marketing, but what we like to do is have a lot of fun with marketing. Because one thing we all know is if it's kind of that blah, blah marketing, most people won't look at it. And if they do, they're not going to want to read it, right? So it's more about pictures that'll get your attention and, again, get you thinking about Healthiest you. So what does all of this mean? What it means is a lot more utilization. And this is the reason that Teladoc and Healthiest you came together right here. So we did a study in 2015, every client that started on 1/1 through that calendar year that had at least 100 employee lives. And what we found was on average, they had 25% telehealth utilization, Now, why is that important for everybody in this room? Now, being self-funded, we've done some other studies around savings, and we know that every time somebody calls or uses a video consult instead of going in, on average, it'll save the company $517. Now, I get that'll vary by company, but we know on average. So utilization is measured by the number of consults divided by the number of employee lives. So if you have 100 employee lives and you had 25 consultations, you've now more than paid for the cost of Healthiest You. That's the beauty of what we do. And the nice thing is it's easy to validate. Some things take years to understand. We can tell you every month how you're doing, and you can actually pull your own reports as well. We also know that groups that have had us for at least 1 year average 58% utilization. That's that behavior change, and I'm sure you see it with other products, right? It usually takes 3 years to understand how many employees will use a new benefit. And we keep driving home the message of Healthiest You. Employees use it, they talk to other employees, and now suddenly we have tremendous results. And results, of course, continue to go up and up. So we're thrilled to see those numbers. And we'll give you an example. This is based on what I just mentioned, but if you had 500 employee lives, that's our PEPM on a standalone basis, $6 per employee per month, which includes the employee plus their family members up to age 26. And the break even on that is 69 telehealth consultations, 13% utilization. And actually, we'll about double that, right? If you hit 25%, you've actually just created a return of almost $29,000 on your investment. That's what's great about telehealth. It's simple to use, and it's simple to understand how much money you can save. And I went through things rather quickly, so we're going to give everybody some time back. I tend to talk fast. I think I'm from Minnesota, and that's maybe why. I'm not sure. I didn't even have coffee today. But anyway, what we would love to do is if you'd like to know more, we'll be hanging out here, myself and Todd and Pat. If you'd like to schedule a demo, we've got a team that would love to help out just to walk you through what we're doing, get any of those in-depth questions answered, and we're here to help. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it.